going on, y'all? You already know this is your girl, Zoe, baby. Tapping in again with another dope episode, baby. Now, this one is going to be a little bit different. As y'all know, October is Mental Health Awareness Month. So, I wanted to do something totally different for y'all and bring in a licensed therapist, baby. And we finna have a real conversation, okay? Now, before we get started into our event, I want to go ahead and give a quick shout out to my sponsor, Yoli the brand, as well as Liz, my bartender. Go ahead and tell them a little bit about your brand, Liz. What's the name of your brand?
I run a notary service business called Paper Legal. I've been a paralegal for the last 5 years.
Yes.
So I do have extensive research and knowledge prior to handling paperwork, filing paperwork, getting things done for you. If you have a business or if you have a loved one that you need a power of attorney for, feel free to contact me, Paper Legal. I'm on TikTok. You can look me up on Facebook, most social platforms. Thank you.
All right, Liz. How long have you been doing your notary service?
A year now.
All right, y'all. So make sure y'all check my girl out. She has a whole notary service, you guys. She can notarize any of y'all documents. These are my first two sponsors. Again, shout out to Yoli the brand. Shout out to Liz and shout out to Nira B, baby. Thank you for joining me, honey.
I'm excited.
I am
for having me
too. I love it, Nira. Now, before we get started, let the people know who you are, where you from, and a little bit about what you do.
So I'm Shanira. I'm originally from Polk County, but I've been in Atlanta for quite a while. So I am a licensed professional counselor, licensed in state of Georgia and Florida.
Okay. Now, how long have you been a counselor?
5 years now.
5 years.
Yeah.
Now, Nira, just to kind of set the state, because you own your own practice. So as y'all know, this is a platform that highlights Black entrepreneurs, Black people doing amazing things in our community, as well as musicians. But with mental health, what made you want to get into the mental health realm?
There's a lot of few things. So I think I had an innate ability to just listen to people. And so that's one thing. And then also I was also just curious about human behavior growing up and just want to know why people do the things they do. So just a little bit of my curiosity and just my innate ability to listen and just want to help people. So
Okay, Nira. Now, I know that mental health is not something that's spoken about in our community. A lot of times people suppress their feelings. What have you found were like some of the main causes for some of the mental health challenges that go on in our community?
Trauma, a lot of trauma. Actually, I have one client that I working with, and one thing she said is that she was afraid. So a lot of times when we experience trauma, we kind of our body gets stuck in that survival mode where we feel like we don't have or we can't express ourselves because of just experiences that we've been through. And so when you go through trauma, the body kind of keeps score and kind of continuously remind you of that trauma, and so you don't want to re-experience it. So you keep yourself in a survival kind of mode. So that's what I've learned, is that we have to kind of push ourselves outside of our traumas and kind of learn it and learn better ways of not only just processing it, talking about it, and knowing that it's okay to go through an experience and work through it so you can come out on the other end.
Okay, now I've seen a lot, as we know, Charlie Kirk was killed. We've seen a lot of racial divide with that and things of that nature. And one of the things, I didn't agree with everything that he said, but one thing that he touched on was the fact that one of the main problems in the Black community was the fact that they lack Black fathers. Do you feel as if that's a contributing factor, or do you feel it's something deeper than that?
Okay, remind me of what he said.
He said one of the contributing factors to like the deterioration of the Black culture was the absence of Black fathers.
One of them was the absence of Black fathers. Okay. I don't know what data or where he with the statistics, support that. But I think there's a lot of factors, and one thing I really am big on, and I really try to encourage Black people to read, is a book called Post-Traumatic slave disorder. And that's by Dr. Joy DeGruy. And it really teaches and it really focuses on how we develop our ideas. So when we talk about like, oh, in the Black community, we're taught to not express our feelings, kind of just, you don't tell your family secrets, in the way our parents talk to us. That's learned from slavery. A lot of our behavior is learned from slavery because we weren't allowed to express ourselves, right? We weren't allowed to have a voice. And so over time, we've learned to suppress things, and this behavior is kind of carried on. So there's a lot of factors. There's definitely a lot. And then like with slavery, a lot of things go back to slavery because we are taught to be obedient, right? Early on. And so that carries on into our children where we teach them this and not to have emotions, right? Or not to show emotions. And so that's why we see ourselves now and I think we're becoming more open to talking about things and becoming more aware of what mental health is. So we're coming a long way, but there are a lot of things that contribute to our state, and not just absence of Black fathers, right? We went through Jim Crow. We went through redlining. We went through a lot of things, and people just focus on slavery, but there's a lot of different things that systematically happen to us. And not only systematically, but psychologically. Like these, they use psychology to really get into our minds. Like they would beat the slaves in front of each other, or they will kill you in front of another slave to get in your mind. So I think there's a lot of things to answer long way to answer your question.
I got you. Now when it comes to, because I've had various conversations with multiple races where they feel as if slavery is something that's too talked about. Like we haven't gone through that. We haven't experienced that. Do you feel as if that's a valid point that's being made?
We haven't experienced it. That it didn't exist.
Well, they're not saying that necessarily it didn't exist. And towards the end, I'm actually let this person kind of elaborate a little more. But not that it really didn't exist, but that we right now in today's day and age, we're not experiencing slavery. So it shouldn't be something that's constantly talked about.
Okay. Well, I think it's always, like we didn't experience 9/11, but we still kind of remember it, and we still feel the impact of it. So I think that's also relevant, is that we can't really pretend like it doesn't affect us. Like this is our in our blood. This is something that's not even far removed fully. Like we still, our great it's something that's still relevant. Yes. And of course we didn't experience it, but we still feel the impact of it.
Okay, I got you. And I want to just mention this because I didn't even write out, because normally I put, hey, y'all, write in y'all questions. I completely forgot to tell them to write in their questions, but they still wrote in their questions.
Oh, good.
One person actually wrote in a powerful story. We're going to get into that, how mental health kind of shaped her relationship with her and her parents. And I was just kind of thinking, because you are kind of at an advantage near, because you started off in an inner city school in Georgia as a school teacher. Then you worked as a guidance counselor. Then you got into your practice. So what do you feel as if are some of the things that are happening in middle school? Because my niece told me, Auntie, they be hunching in the bathroom. They be smoking weed in the bleachers. I said, what?
Yeah, middle school is tough. Like they really start to really try to learning themselves. Like that's a very interesting developmental age that they're in. They're just trying to figure it out. Especially that 7th grade, like I don't know what happens, but 6th grade they go for babies, and 7th grade they completely lose their mind, and 8th grade they kind of calm back down again. So if you have a kid that's in 7th grade, just be patient because it get better. But I don't know, that 13, 14, what is that? 13. Yeah, that's developmentally they're just going through a lot.
Now, how do you feel like, because I know I have a lot of artists that come on here and some of their music is vulgar, some of it promotes violence and different things, and I often ask them, hey, do you feel like your music impacts these children?
Oh, yeah.
And they all say, no, no, no. Well, I went around before this podcast and I asked a couple kids, who are your favorite artists? They say NBA Youngboy. They say Lil Durk. You know what I'm saying? They say all these different artists that are promoting drill, music. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you being a therapist and kind of understanding how the mind of a child works, kind of break that down for us and let them know a little bit about it.
Yeah. There's there's good influence and there's bad influence. So if you feel like you can say somebody influenced me, or I inspired to be this person, or this person has motivated me to do this, it also can, you can't negate, like, this also has a negative impact. Like, you can be negatively influenced. You can have a negative role model. So just like you can be positively influenced by something, you can also have what's going on with that and just be negatively influenced, and you want to look up to this person because you think it's cool. And we adapted this mindset like this is what culture is, but in essence, it's really trauma that you just really haven't really come to terms with. And you kind of package it as normal. And it's really not. Like, this is all you know, but it still doesn't make it normal, right? But we kind of, in our mind, we kind of feel like it's normal because this is what we see every day. And so I don't feel like they are maybe not intentionally trying to impact them in a normal way. They're just living what they know, but they also have to be mindful, right, of exactly what it does to Black kids and what it does to our people and our culture.
And I agree with that. And I'm actually going to show a video of two artists that are, it might be three, but I'm debating on the third one because it's a little, but these two artists, they 9 years old and 13 years old, and they're imitating the things that they're seeing on TV. That's why I always bring this conversation up when I have these artists on the platform. But Lil King here, he was connected with Finesse 2 times.
Yeah.
Finesse is a convicted felon, had this boy exposed to all these different things, and it forced him to grow up too fast. Do you find that, like, when these kids grow up in these type of environments, that is detrimental for them?
Yeah, it is. I witnessed it. What's the little boy?
Lil RT.
Lil RT. Like, I have, and it's funny because I have a very close connection with him and his family. I won't go in detail of how, but I was a in-school therapist, and that's what I did for 3 years. And he actually attended that school, and I'm familiar with him, and what you see is exactly how he was at school when he did go, and it was rare that he went to school. Right. And so it's the people that's around him. Like, he's a kid, right? And you have to really question, like, who is really around him. And it's kind of sad because, like, they're not giving him an opportunity, right? They yes, it's cool right now, like, he's a rapper and he's getting on his fame, but is it really, like, where's the morals, right? Like, I think our culture now has shifted away from morals. Like, we don't have that. We don't have morals and values, and we don't instill that. So, but yeah, it's very unfortunate to see, like, the direction he's going in, but I can't blame him. Like, it's definitely, like, the environment. And
because when you watch these teen stories and things of that nature, that's exactly what they say. Like, some of them say, I didn't have a father, so I came out here and I joined this gang. My mom was always at work. I had to step up and be the father figure in the household for my younger brothers and sisters. So that's why I say, do you feel that, like, they just get pushed in these adults? Even when you ask them to babysit your children, they 15 years old and they babysitting they 2, 3, 4-year-old brother and sister. You know what I'm saying? And it impacts them along the route. I watched this one video, like, with this girl, and she was pretty much struggling about the dynamics between her and her mom as a teenager. She's saying, like, her mom used to talk down on her, call her bees and hoes and different things when she's upset. You've been a child therapist. Have you heard those stories? And how like, from your experience, how did that impact that child, like, on a one-on-one?
It kills the self-esteem. Yeah, it goes back to, again, like, one of my clients that I'm working with now, like, she, like, distrust. Like, she doesn't trust people, and it's hard for her to open up because, well, my mom, didn't care for me, or my dad, didn't do this for me. So what makes you, not even knowing me, want to be there for me? And so that's and that's kind of what that does. It kills their trust in people and the world. And one thing that I do as a therapist, I'm really big on what's called attachment theory. And attachment is kind of how we respond in relationships. So early on, you develop an attachment to your caregiver. If that caregiver is not attuned to you, like you cry as a baby and they ignore you, right then you think the world is unsafe. You develop the mindset right then as a baby that, dang, the world is unsafe. I can't trust the world because this caregiver. And then you grow up an adult and you don't know how to function in relationships, right? You think, oh, this person's going to abandon me, or they're going to leave me. And so it's very important that as a parent that you understand how to have a secure attachment is what it is. How do you develop a secure attachment with your child so that they grow up in the world and can have healthy relationships? Yeah, so I'm pretty sure she don't know how to handle a relationship.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes, Nira, I love this. Don't y'all love this? Look at them back there. They tuned in. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, Nira, so you're a new mother, right?
Yes.
You're brand new. Now, from the things that you've learned through being a counselor, the different interaction that you've had through these kids, what are some things that you've taken away for your journey on this motherhood journey?
Yeah. I would say patience. And just modeling behavior is important. And also being able to regulate my emotions, because a child learns from you. A lot of times I think it's important to understand that we have to be models for our children. If you yelling and cursing, that's kind of why I got out of working with kids, because the parents would push all the blame on the parents would push all the blame on the kids, but they have to take accountability and responsibility. Like I'll be on the phone or interact with a parent and they're yelling and cursing at their kid and then wonder why they come to school and they're exhibiting the same behavior. Like they're yelling and cursing and fighting at school, but it's like, come on now.
Yeah. What
do you expect when this is what they see at home?
Yes.
So I think as the parents, we have to take accountability, right? And learn to model that. So if I do something to my child, I'm okay with apologizing. Like, hey son, I overreacted. I'm okay with doing that because I'm teaching him that it's okay to take accountability and to be okay with apologizing. So, yeah.
Now, you actually wrote a book to help children digest and kind of understand their feelings. What was your motivation behind that?
Yeah. 'Cause I think it's important. Yeah, being able to name your emotions is very important. Because if somebody asks you how you doing today or what you feeling, is that really? It's not going to be beneficial for neither one of y'all. But if you're able to really name your emotion and really say, you know what, that made me feel, unappreciated, right? Or that made me feel whatever, then it'll really help that person to develop the understanding. And so they can correct themselves. But if you're not able to really name your emotion and really know what it is, they're not going to be able to help you.
I agree with that, because I was watching this therapist online, and one of the things that he compared a person's feelings to being like a shaking soda can. Okay. If you holding it in, if you hold it in, you don't know if that soda can been shaking or not. But when it open, you gonna know, because it's gonna explode. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So what are some healthy ways? Because I know, especially with our black men, black men feel as if they have to hold everything in, be strong for the world. They don't seek the mental help.
I wonder where that comes from.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah. They don't seek that mental help. But I'm going to ask you, where does that come from?
Yeah, that comes back from slave. Like I said, like we've been taught to be obedient. We've been taught to not express our emotions. Like this is things that we couldn't do, right? Or we would be penalized or punished for this stuff. So, and then we carry that on, and then we continue to carry that on. That's exactly where that comes from. Yeah.
I love that, Nira. You so smart, girl. I told y'all this is why this is my friend.
No, I'm telling y'all, read the book, Post-Traumatic Slave Disorder. It really open your mind and really help you to develop a deeper understanding of where we come from as people, and how a lot of our behaviors really are carried on, right? Because it didn't start with just us. You know, these are things that started from our great, and that's been carried on, and that we adapted or adopted, right? We adopt these behaviors. Just like, I think about like a lot of my people that I work with who have been in trauma. They adopt certain behaviors because they're in survivor mode. Like, this is what I've learned to do to survive, and I'm going to continue to do it because it's what keeps me safe.
Yeah. Now, there are like what I found is a lot of people who suffer from trauma, because even in Tampa, I think last week there was a young girl who said that she was asking her parents for help. She was a young mother, single mother, of course.
Yeah.
You heard about it?
Oh, yeah.
She tied the babies to her. Then you had another woman in Texas that shot her 4 or 5 kids. And main thing, they going back to finances, all of this stress being on them, everything weighing on them. So if somebody's walking into your office and this is the pressure that they're facing, and they telling you, dang, I'm thinking about just offing myself right now, like, what's some advice that you would give to them?
That's really hard, because I can really empathize, especially now that being a first-time mom. And it's funny because I've been with my baby a week without my husband, and I'm like, I really commend women who do it by themselves, because it really does challenge your mental health. Yeah, it really does. It really tests you, and you really have to have a strong mental to deal with it. So I think I would just, kind of just help them to know that this is a temporary thing, and to help them create a support system, or just identify like what supportive network do they have, and what kind of outlets do you have? Like, where can you go, or who can you talk to, even if it's just anything. Yeah.
And I mean, that's why we having this conversation, because a lot of times it leads back to therapy. If you don't have that safe space, because a lot of people don't feel vulnerable enough to kind of put that out there for other people, you know what I'm saying? And to kind of share their pain. So it definitely goes back to therapy, you guys. Therapy is extremely important. And I want to pull up this story before I let these people go. Right? Where's my notepad near? I'm going to ask you like you supposed to know. Okay, here we go. Should I do it before, or should I do it after they get off?
Who gets off then?
I'm gonna give it to him. How long we been on, Liz? About 10 minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna give y'all this story, and then I'm gonna let y'all ass log off. Dang, I cussed again. They gonna teach me in my class, though, y'all. They gonna teach me. Where's my story? Okay, so here it is. Okay, so this young woman said she grew up not feeling loved by her mom. At 14, she started dating a 19-year-old who she thought cared about her. By 15, she was pregnant, and he made her get an abortion. Said it wasn't his, and after that, he started beating her and even letting his friends pay her for sex. She caught 3 different STDs. One day, he beat her so bad, she ended up in the hospital. But she told everyone she fell down the stairs, of course, because she was scared. After getting home, she tried to take her own life. The same boy found her and called 911. Her mom came to the hospital crying, saying she didn't know what her daughter was going through. After that, they went to therapy together for 2 years and slowly rebuilt their relationship. So that right there just made me think, like, it's so many stories that I've heard, like different children being molested at a young age, being introduced to drugs at a young age. I had a friend of mine whose daughter started acting out, and she was selling her body at 12 years old. You know what I'm saying? And it was nothing that her mama boarded the windows. Her mama got a lock on the inside. I mean, she still found ways out there to get to and everything. And at the end, her mama had to send her off to this camp. You know what I'm saying? That was the last result. But a lot of parents just don't realize how much trauma they cause to their doggone children. They don't. A lot of people who out here putting out music and putting this stuff out on social media, and that's what we're going to get to next, you guys. We're going to be talking about how social media impacts not only kids, but adults as well. And we're going to get into it. So y'all make sure, if y'all are watching on my Instagram Live, y'all make sure that y'all tune in to It's a Vibe podcast. on YouTube. The full interview will definitely be there. And then I want y'all to make sure y'all check out my girl's website. You can actually book a consultation on her website. She has a journal on her website. Her books are on Amazon. Just let them know where they can find you, Nira.
Yeah, it's www.thehealthymental.com. Again, www.thehealthymental.com. So if you are in Georgia, I do accept insurance. And that's one thing. Like, you have an advantage if you have insurance. Like, therapy is almost practically covered. And sometimes there is no copay. So you can just go and have it for free. So, yeah, just like going to the doctor. Like, it's important. Your mental health is also very important. But yeah.
And then y'all make sure y'all check into y'all jobs, because I know some jobs, a lot of jobs are even offering therapy to you guys, at least 1 to 3 free sessions,
Right.
Nothing included. And then, of course, if you ever feel like you're going through so much, you know, you always got all those different hotlines that y'all can call. You guys are not alone, okay? This is October Mental Health Awareness. Make sure y'all tune in, because the rest of this is going to be really good, okay? Later. Did I word your feelings correctly? I said I was gonna let you elaborate on it about the slavery, because I didn't want to misquote you.
No,
You told me you wanted me to bring it up.
What part?
No, she was saying, because we had a conversation about it, and I was like a really pro-black person. And I think once I started looking for answers, I started turning more towards my religion. And when I did that, I kind of, it did help a lot mentally for me. Self-accountability, emotional discipline, spiritual discipline, denying thyself, so you're not always having a dopamine high on everything.
What religion is it?
Holiness, Christianity.
Oh, okay.
You know, but it just kind of let me know that all the people was evil.
Oh.
All of them were fallen. And that we may have trauma now for what we're experiencing, but it's going to happen again, because we're fallen people who don't turn. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, so for me, I feel like it's going to be trauma always. And then, like, for my history, my people came here in the 1900s from Ireland. So I always wondered why we was never a family that was real pro. And it's because we didn't have that same background. We came later. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of black people who come in later, they're not having that same experience as other people. So our racism was more of like the segregation.
Right.
It really wasn't as much as a slavery.
Yeah.
But it was more segregation. And
Yeah.
when they kind of cling to themselves. Like, my grandma worked for black people.
Yeah.
My grandfather worked for black. We really didn't see that struggle. And, you know what I'm saying, being black people. And I'm from Virginia.
Yeah.
For me, it was kind of like, you know, and it freed me out, because I was an angry person trying to find out why white people don't like us and why we are angry with each other. And I realized only God can save these people. It's not. I can't be the savior of the world.
Yeah.
And I can't use all my emotions to live my life for groups of people, for social activism that I can't control. You know, and I do feel a lot better as a person, because I can only control what God give me and my power to control. I can't keep going outside of that and trying to. And then I'm leaving behind the things I love and my loved ones to be something that a lot of our women do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then you wonder why life ain't, because you're not focusing. Let God handle what He gonna do.
Right.
And you handle what you got in front of you. You know, and a lot of people don't do that in their lives. They kind of want to put it onto the white man instead of taking it and reflecting back on themselves what they lack and what they need to grow. And then they can get better from there. That's just how my life goes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think there's two sides, both sides. I think I agree with. Yeah. We do have to take accountability, like what Zoe's saying about our, like, what we put into our communities, like what we push into it. That's us. You know, there's no white man forcing you to do that. But we also have to understand, like, we have to move away from the psychological part of what they instill into us also. So I think it's both. Right.
That's what I believe. You have to be born again from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's kind of like what Christianity teaches me, is to undo what the world has done. And it gives you a glimpse of what you're fighting for, because so many people are so distant and they're not connected to oneself to the point where they don't even see that they're wrapping themselves in the fear. I used to have so much fear on both sides.
Oh, yeah.
I would have fear around white people.
Yeah.
I would have fear around white folks.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's a good point because the news plays on that fear, right? Right? And so when you look at the news, it's things to manipulate you and to really get you in a state of fear.
Yeah.
And that's how the news works.
Yep.
So I'm glad you brought that up. And a lot of people, they look at Trump and they, he's doing this and he's doing that, but it's like he don't have the last word. Like I'm not gonna travel because of a fear of he's not. It's like I'm gonna do. He's not God. Like, and I'm glad you really bringing really good valid points. Yeah.
And when I did learn, I learned that Confederates were Democrats. And then I learned that Republicans were free, and they were allowing free black people in Virginia to build their homes, build houses. I lived near Ann Spencer, who was with Frederick Douglass when she passed. So I lived near super across the streets of Tuskegee Airmen used to live beside me. So I lived across people who never talked like. They were just saying, it don't matter.
Yeah.
You're just Liz. That's it. They never put that fear in me of anything like that. They never told me, watch your back.
Yeah.
White man go get you.
Yeah.
Never. They were just like, do your best in school. Make sure you're a good girl. They used to throw me dollars to go get candy. They never.
Yeah.
I never had that until I came to Florida.
Yeah. I was just going to say, because there's two totally different, deep South. It's a lot different.
That's what I was
Your
gonna say.
experience there is a lot different than the deep South where, they like I said, that psychological thing, like they did instill fear. That's why they hung you from trees.
And still doing it.
And because so you can visually see, this, and you develop that fear and that mindset, like, oh my God, like I need to walk a straight, narrow line and
it trickles in your personal life.
For me, it's just hard because even though we like to say, like, I know in the past that's what they did, but now today they're still doing it. We have colleges that HBCUs now that are having to be completely shut down because of the racism.
Yeah.
We have black men all down North Carolina still getting hung. Texas students still getting hung. Black girls' bodies still being missing. So it's like, it's something that's still psychologically you cannot escape it, even if it's on the news because it's happening. You get what I'm saying? And some of the stuff like the truck, I think it's like 14 truck drivers right now that were found hung, and they all suicides. They all considered suicides, and those stories are not being publicized on the news. You get what I'm saying? And they washed away. Like, who was supposed to be on the dollar bill? It was somebody that was supposed to go. Harriet Tubman, but they can't make that happen.
Yeah, I don't.
But Charlie Kirk finna get his money, his face on money. They trying to get everything in there, so I just don't understand. If you sitting there and it's still being taken away from us, then how mentally can you get out of that psychological, that psychological prison? We still seeing our black boys shot down, and then on top of that, our black men who struggling from that trauma that you're talking about are the same people that are feeding into these youth that are teaching them the same traumas. So this is a double-edged sword. We losing on both ends. So if it ain't enough of us that's willing to step up, because these role models are needed. You get what I'm saying? You didn't have kids at a time, but you was a role model for kids through service when you were doing your counseling, and you still have that strong suit for teens and adults the same in your practice. You get what I'm saying? We have to have somebody that's willing to stand up and say, I know this is old, but I mean it's still fresh. You get what I mean? But that does tie back into social media and things that are being promoted on the news and on TV and different things like that. As at a young age, I know when I was younger, I was listening to Trina, but I knew it wasn't proper to jump on the D, right? Because I knew my mama was going to tear my butt up, but everybody don't have that structure. You get what I'm saying? So how do you feel like social media and things that are being publicized are kind of tying into not only the youth, but the adults the same?
Again, that glorification of things is, and then you look at it and you want to engage in it. So I think it's just having a lot of people need to develop discernment and understand like what really is going on and kind of be like what Liz was saying, just develop self-awareness and knowing like, okay, I need to be removed from this, and I know what it's doing to the potential of what it's doing to me. and what, social media, like, and it's funny because a lot of my clients, they come in sessions and they say, I'll have to delete my social media account because it's making me depressed. This person's living their life like this way. But I have to remind them, these people are posting what they want you to see. That's not their life every day, all day.
Right.
You know, so you can't really live your life based off of what somebody else is doing or feeling like you're lacking or you're not, meeting, you're lacking because of what you're seeing somebody else doing, because that's not reality, right? That's a false sense of reality.
Yes, and you see a lot of people who are I see a lot of people who are insecure based on social media alone. You see these different bodies. The men glorify a certain shape, a certain color, a certain aesthetic. And then you see these women catty as hell because of the attention that they're getting from these men. And most women want the attention of men, and they don't even understand that could lead to depression as well.
Yeah. You have to have a strong mind to know, like, how do you define beauty, right? And how do you define success? And what you define is different from what somebody else is. So there's no right or wrong way. So, yeah.
That's amazing. I had one guy that said that he suppresses his trauma through his accomplishments. So if he accomplishes more, he feels more validated, but if that accomplishment is taken away, he feels empty. But
we have to, sorry to cut you off, but we have to, in therapy, what I would do is examine, where did that come from? You know, who told you, right, that you had to accomplish something? And that probably came from, maybe he had a parent who was, you have to make straight A's. And so he developed the mindset, like, success, that's what success means, is I have to accomplish something. I have to be on top of the world, or I have to be on top of something in order for me to feel validated. And so that came from something.
Yeah. But he said, he went on a little bit more. I was watching his story because I love these type of stories. When I go on YouTube and different stuff like that, this is the type of stuff I watch. I want to feel people and understand where they're coming from. But he was saying, like, his first interaction, his dad told him, you're going to go to high school, son. You're going to have a group of friends. Some of these friends going to graduate with you. Some of them going to end up dead. Some of them going to end up on drugs. And some of them going to end up incarcerated, right? And he said that was the mindset that he always had. And he always saw that play out. But his dad was like his strength, you know? And when his dad passed away, it was sudden. You know what I mean? But he said it affected him, but that wasn't the thing that took him over the edge. It was when his mama passed away, it took him over the edge, and he went to drugs. Now he's saying people cope with things by doing drugs, committing suicide, or resorting to violence. Do you agree with that?
Not necessarily. There's a million ways you can cope with things. You know, maybe those are just what we call maladaptive strategies to cope, which is unhealthy things. Those are definitely some of the top common ones. Yeah, some people cope by sleeping with a lot of men. Yeah, like, it's different ways that people cope, and they're unhealthy ways. So I would say that those are some. Yeah.
Okay, now when it comes to the balance of men and women, I know a lot of men feel as if they have to be superior to the woman. And most women feel like a man's supposed to provide this, and then they feel like women are too strong black women. They don't want a strong black woman. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no
masculine,
no sassy black man. You get what I'm saying? Do you feel like those type of terms kind of like demasculate men and kind of take away from a woman's femininity?
I think so. I think learning a person and not develop these stereotypes, or just I don't know. It depends on you as a person. Like, if you don't desire a masculine woman and you want somebody to be feminine, that's what you need to go after. But you can't forcefully, force somebody into that. If they're, if that's not them, just find you somebody who aligns with what you want. If that's what you want, then hey, get you somebody who's aligned with that. And I think that's a lot of where we get caught up, is we try to force something force a belief on somebody, right? and there are a million people in this world or whatever, and you can find somebody who's aligned with that.
Yes. Now, you are a relationship expert as well.
A little bit.
I've
I've done my couples therapy. Yeah.
How often do you find, like, in your therapy sessions, you kind of find those unhealthy relationships? Because I know when I've been in unhealthy relationships, it was just like it was crushing to my soul, like my spirit and everything about it, that energy. You know what I mean? How often do you find women and men the same kind of be in these unhealthy relationships and stay well longer than what they're supposed to?
It's often. Yeah, but my job is to help you to develop a healthier relationship. So if your relationship isn't healthy and the dynamic is dysfunctional, my job is to help you identify what are these unhealthy patterns and how do we develop new healthier patterns. So I always go into my therapy in a non-judgmental way. Like, I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to learn you, and I'm here to help you reach a goal that you want. Like, where do you want to come out on the end? And if it's an unhealthy relationship and you want it to learn how to coexist with this person and interact with this person in a healthier way, then that's what we're going to do.
Okay. I love that, Nira. I love that. I'm telling y'all need therapy. I done talked to some of y'all who watching, and y'all need some therapy, honey. I'm going to shoot y'all my girl information right after this. I promise I'm going to keep putting that thing up there. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to ask a few questions from the audience because we almost done. Let me see. Where we at?
Yeah. Why are you looking? When you talk about relationships, that goes back to what I talked about, attachment style, right? You develop, like, there's attachment style of secure attachment, and then you have an insecure attachment style where you kind of question your partner all the time, and you develop that because you are fear that this person's gonna leave me. So where you at? Where you going? Like, you learn that, and then you have what's anxious. Thank you.
I know that one.
Thank you. Yeah. well, that's what that is. That's that insecure, anxious attachment style. Then you have an avoidant one, the person who don't share their emotions, who shy away from it because they, out of fear, if I share this with you, you're gonna use it against me. And so like you said, like, we have to. I'm really big on attachment styles and helping people to learn their attachment style and how to be vulnerable for the person who has the abandonment, how to communicate your emotions, right? And the person who has that insecure, anxious, right, attachment style, how to be okay with your partner leaving and knowing that they're going to come back and develop that trust.
And be okay if they don't, y'all.
Yeah.
Be okay, because you have to love that's one thing I always tell people. You have to love before you can love anybody else, men, women, all y'all the same. You have to love yourself, and you have to heal. You have to heal. I had one friend that was dealing with this guy. He had mommy issues, you know what I'm saying? He and that kind of played relationship issues, and then he brought that trauma into this relationship, and she just wondered why it couldn't work. You done did the work, sister. He got to do the work on his own. You're not his therapist. You ain't his mama. You can't save the world, and that's okay. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? Save yourself. You can do much more good for anybody around you if you save yourself first. That's one of the biggest lessons I had to learn. I'm telling you.
Never go in a relationship thinking you can change somebody, right? You can go into a relationship thinking this person can grow, right? But you're not going to change anybody. Like, you have to see the potential already. If that person is not already showing signs that they are willing to meet your expectations or willing to do the work, nothing you're going to do that's going to make them do it, right? They already have to have some kind of signs that they're going to do it. You can motivate them, encourage them, but that's going to just stress you out because they're not meeting you where you are because they're not ready yet.
That's it, honey. And most men, they perfectly honest with you. And they let you know. I got this woman and that woman, baby. You ain't gonna be the only one. I've seen men tell women. I got multiple women's, baby.
Yes.
You're not the only one. And
Yeah.
the girl is
And
sitting there
believe
and
it.
say, I'm going to change you.
Mm-hmm. Nope,
I'm
you
gonna
better
change
believe
you.
it. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for the girls, because this section is for the women, we done did the men, we done did the children. This section for the women right here. Now, what are some of those times? Like, what is the difference between potential and when you should just let this thing go?
Yeah, that's exactly when he's being honest. I have a client like that who they were in a poly relationship, and he was telling her, "I'm poly," you know. So
And she want monogamy.
yeah, she want monogamy, and I'm like, and she's struggling with, do I stay or do I go? But I'm like, are you okay with being? You have to be what is called acceptance. You have to accept that if you want a part of him, that's the part you got to play. You got to play the side chick, or you got to play because that's what he's telling you, right? I live in reality, and I'm going to bring my clients to reality. Like, if this is what you want to do, we can work with you. Either we're going to work with helping you to move away from him, or we're going to work with you being able to accept that I have to be this. In order for me to have him, I have to move into this position.
Yes. Yes. Now, what are some tricks and tips that you could give to these women to kind of build their self-love for the ones that haven't reached that point yet?
Just focus on yourself. Focus on what makes you happy, what really motivates you, what drives you, I think. And then, don't be desperate.
I love you, Nir, because you do different types of therapy.
Yeah.
You have different techniques depending on what everybody needs.
Yeah.
And one of your strong ones that I love the most is the motivational therapy. And the only reason I love motivation is because you forcing somebody to dig deep and really understand like who you are at the center and at the core. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we just don't do that. We don't even, like you say, we don't process our own pain. We be out here unhealed, trying to attach to people, driving these people crazy. Don't be out here driving nobody crazy. I'm going to cuss this one time near with your unhealed ass, okay? Don't be out here doing that. Oh, my gosh. Nira, I love you so much. I just love this so much. You like this?
Yeah,
I told
go
you.
on and on.
I'm telling you. One of them was, how can a parent create a safe space for their child and make them feel safe and heard?
Yeah, validation. That's one thing I'm big on in any relationship or dynamic, is being able to validate somebody's feelings. Like, I understand you're frustrated, right? So being able to really express like you understand where they're coming from.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's how you create that safety. Yeah.
Now, a lot of people, they get kind of like the parent line and the friend line kind of shaded there. You know what I mean? How do you create that that parental boundary, but still make your kid feel like, come to me? I'm gonna tell you, because the only person that I ever saw master that was my auntie.
Yeah.
My auntie Gwen, she mastered it, right? She'll tell you, girl, you're a fool, but then she gonna tell you how to get out of that situation, whatever it was that you got into.
Yeah. This is perfect. Yep.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, you have to be firm, but also, like, a lot of times parents, they just go right to discipline without explaining what the behavior was and what they can do right.
Yes.
Like, don't touch that, it's hot, instead of, it could burn you, instead of just going right to, I told you not to do that, but explain why. They don't want to get to the explaining part.
Yeah.
They don't, but in order for a child to learn and not repeat the behavior, they need to know, okay, this is why I shouldn't do it, and what should I do? Like, what else is there? What's the second choice, instead of just going right to the discipline?
Yeah.
It's okay to really sit down and talk to your kids. And I think, maybe now in our generation, we're more open to talking to them. But back then, it wasn't no talking. You just got beat, and you don't know what you get beat for.
Oh, yeah.
And then they go to school, they repeat the same behavior, but it's like they don't know what else, what to do.
Yeah. Because my auntie used to whoop my ass for what she thought I was thinking about doing.
Yeah.
I used to be like, God damn, girl, I ain't even did shit. I thought you was thinking about it. You finna get your ass up, man. I was watching the Karamo show. I don't know, y'all ever heard of that show?
Yeah.
I
never knew about it until.
I love that show. But he does these teen segments, and I was watching this show, and the girl, her mom just stood up and she said, I'm old school. I look you, I could point you on your face. My mama used to point at me like this, and I knew not to say. It's still like like you say, that fear.
Mm-hmm.
That fear, you still want to instill that fear.
You
You
do.
have to break that guard. Like that, I feel like, hell, it wouldn't have worked with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'd have listened, but hell, I'd have went and laughed like, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, now this one says, what can we do to show young men there's another way?
Show your man?
Show men, like young men, that there's another way. I'm pretty sure he's talking about, because we was talking about the kids who was shooting and being shot, because around Tampa alone,
Yeah.
we done had so many shooting in the past 2 weeks. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I
And
think
it's ridiculous. I'm ready to move. That's how bad it is.
Yeah. Introducing them to different things, like letting them know like there's bigger world outside of what you see, because that's where they're limited to, right? Only what they see around them. But you really have to show them that there's other things outside of this.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of, I'm okay with mentoring and talking to kids and preaching to them, but you have to remove them from their environment, or let them know that it's more out there in the world. How you do it, I don't know. Maybe books, maybe you go on YouTube showing them different countries or something, so they know it's a bigger world
Yes.
out here than just the hood. I'm gonna get, go back to my roots. It's more than just the hood. It's more than just the projects, or it's just more than just what you see, gun violence and selling drugs. Like, you can be whatever you want to be, but it's about exposing them to that. So taking them to the aquarium. Like, some kids ain't never been on a field trip, really ain't never really been outside of whatever their neighborhoods.
Yeah,
So
that's
taking
true.
them places is a great example.
Yeah. I think a lot of adults need to step out their nonsense. Like, it's a lot of stuff that these kids are doing that it be full grown adults that are supporting the nonsense that they're doing. And I feel like that, when you say morals, like, everybody like morals. They don't care about these children no more like we used to.
Yeah.
My auntie used to have her friend next door peeping at us. She'll be at the card game somewhere. Her friend right next door peeping at us, making sure ain't nothing going down. Miss Sylvia right across the street. My auntie right around the corner.
We had community.
Community.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? And now, even like with the family dynamics, I know a couple of my cousins are new to motherhood as well, and they find that it's not easy to find that support.
Yeah.
It's not easy to, have that person to fall back on. A couple of them don't have that relationship with their mama. Their mama not teaching them the ins and out of being a mother. They just kind of learning as they go. And it's so unfortunate. And I do feel like that's a lot of the reason why in our community it kind of leads to, like you said, a breakdown of communication, a breakdown of relationships, a lack of morals. That's what's leading to the destruction. And until they able to at least acknowledge that this is the stuff that's happening, it's going to be a continued cycle, and we're going to have more kids damaged and hurt and ruined because y'all don't want to go seek therapy. You don't want to process your trauma. You just want to keep repeating these same cycles. Let me see him. Let me get to another one. I found them there.
Oh, okay. Good. I was like, wait, how you making up these questions? I'm glad you found them though.
Let me see. If you could tell someone who's battling silently, one thing, what would it be?
That you're not alone. I think, and that it's okay. Like, I think another thing I like to do in therapy is just humanize people. You're human. We all go through stresses. We all go through moments where we feel like things are overwhelming, and I just always reiterate, you're human. So that's one thing, is just to realize that you're human and that you don't have to struggle alone, and that or be silent. You don't have to tell your whole business, but you can tell a friend, hey, I'm not feeling good today. Let's get up and go for a coffee or whatever. You don't really have to really expose your hand, but at least reach out to somebody and get it. Just find a way to invite some type of happiness into your life, and then know that you are supported and you do have somebody, hopefully. If you don't, then I wouldn't say therapy, because not everybody doesn't have access to that, but maybe it's a pet, or maybe it's something like that you enjoy, like painting, or something that you can find a connection to.
Yes. I definitely agree with that, Nira. I love this. Okay, so this is the last one. This one came in from one of our black little young male listeners. He's one of these drill rappers.
Okay.
Nira.
Okay.
You don't want me to say his name, so I ain't gonna say your name
Okay.
this time. How do I navigate when all I see around me are hustlers, scammers, and rappers with money? That's all that's glorified.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna tell you about this young man.
Yeah.
This young man's very intelligent.
Okay.
He paints the picture in his music that he does not live in real life. He kind of get that from the artists that he listened to. He said that a lot of these artists don't rap about it. It's like painting a picture.
But that goes back to, again, morals and values. So you're not living out your own values. If this is not important to you, why are you talking about it?
That's it.
Yeah. So you got to go back into yourself and have self-awareness and talk about things that you find valuable. If you saying, is that right? He said that he don't live this lifestyle.
He don't really live that lifestyle. He trying to veer. From what I perceive from him, he kind of trying to veer away from that. But the type of people that you're around eventually is going to suck him in. But right now, he off to a good start. You got a job.
Yeah.
You in school. You doing your thing. But you hanging around. Girl, had so many thugs in here, I was scared. Thought I had to go downstairs and get my gun for these little suckers. Yeah, I'm about to shut the whole interview down.
Yeah, that's where you gotta.
You remember, Donna?
You gotta have a conversation with yourself at that point.
Yeah, thugs, mister.
Yeah.
I be feel like she thinks she big mama or somebody.
She do.
You know what I'm saying?
Thug Missy.
Yeah, shoot. You got to be thugged out for these children nowadays, girl. You be scared.
Yeah.
I was sitting there lined up.
I be like, Zoe, who that man?
One of them came in with ski mask. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna have dress code.
Yeah.
I didn't even
Don't
know
you
until
worry.
he walked back. I thought he had a belt. I was like, hey,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we wasn't in this studio though. We wasn't in this studio.
You gotta have a policy, Zoe.
We was over there in the hood over there. That's back. It was back in the day. These stories back when we was thugging, girl. We was thugging. We was just trying to get people on the podcast.
Yeah.
Come on, thug.
Y'all, please check out some of our old stuff because it's hilarious.
It is. It's so much fun.
Yeah. You got people singing, dancing.
Oh, girl. I have people doing a fucking worm on the ground in the middle of the club. These people is crazy.
You know them singing their name. I was like, what's your name? Sing it for me since you're a singer.
Girl.
And then they start singing.
Yeah, that one boy tried to serenade me. He almost got me.
I'll tell you.
Okay, so this is the last one for real here. It says, one thing you talk about a lot is boundaries. How do we set them without feeling guilty, especially when you're someone who cares about people and you don't want to hurt nobody's feeling?
Yeah, you again validate. That's a great way. I understand you would like me to pick you up at 5:00, but I'm unavailable.
Yes, girl.
I understand that this is important to you and that you would love my help, but unfortunately I cannot.
You see what I'm saying? And that's one thing I had to learn, because if you have that big heart, sometimes you're going through your own personal stuff. You can only be your own cheerleader. You get what I'm saying? Or if you find yourself pouring into a cup, but they not pouring back into you, now you depleted, you running on E.
Yeah.
Your car about to break down.
Yeah.
And you still over here trying to fill them up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You don't necessarily have to say no, but you let them down easy. Like, not.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can give them. These are strategies that I help clients with, give them alternatives. I can't pick you up at this time, but I can help you with this, so that way you don't feel like you're completely, dismissing their need for help and support, and you're not feeling, you're not left with that guilt. So there are ways that you can establish boundaries and what we call so there's passive, and then you have, which is aggressive, and then you have healthy boundaries where you do it in a way that's not neglecting your needs, but also attending to somebody else's at the same time.
Yes. Yes, girl, because I had to tell me, listen, somebody tell me a sob story. I'm like, oh no, let me help. Girl, you can't help everybody, though. You cannot help everybody, especially if it's detrimental to you and your health. Again, this is all about mental health. I hope that this podcast was extremely informative for y'all. I hope y'all learn new coping mechanisms. I hope y'all learn how to find a safe space. For those of y'all that want more information about Shanira and what she has to offer, again, you can definitely go over to her website. You can book a free consultation there. She's on every therapy platform that there is. You just type in her name, Shanira Brooke.
Not every, but some of them.
I'm hyping it up. Most of them. And she has a 5-star rating, you guys. So I'm telling you, she's very passionate about what she do. I'm extremely happy that I got to get this entrepreneur because she owns her own practice in Atlanta, Georgia. And you license the service people in Florida here as well?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
I can take insurance, but yeah, it's a iffy thing. So
okay,
I can, but I'm leaning to where you sell cash pay, so you have to pay for your service. There's no insurance in Florida.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. Now, if somebody want to get a session with you and they hit you up, how much are the sessions?
$125.
$125.
Yeah.
For how long?
Hour.
$125 for an hour, baby. That's what I'm telling you. You rack up 1 or 2 goddamn sessions, and I'm telling you, she'll have you with a healthy mental before you done. Y'all don't understand how important this is. It's so important that I dedicated this entire episode to this. Is October is Mental Health Awareness Month. Y'all make sure y'all check into y'all mental daily. Daily, okay? Find something that make you happy, Nira, and just get them, because I can keep rambling on and on and keep you here. I keep her ass here until she go back to Georgia, and I don't even want her to go. So I'm telling you, bring the baby here too. I want my baby to leave y'all with a word of encouragement, just something to, leave them with something to remember, Nira.
Oh goodness.
Wrap it up for them. One word of encouragement to somebody that really need it. Battling mental health.
Yeah, that you're human. I think that's one thing, and that you're not alone, and we all go through things, and you don't need to feel like it's something wrong with you.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
And if you do feel like something wrong with you, get you a therapist. Yeah. And if you cannot afford a therapist, call one of the hotlines. They have a suicide hotline. They have a trauma hotline. They have a hotline if you're about to get kicked out your place, baby. It's a fix for everything. Make sure y'all check in to y'all mental. And until next time, I love y'all. Later.